Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make an American football stadium. This is the amount of space required to make your football stadium. And here are all of the materials that we will use throughout the build. Begin by destroying a block in the ground, and then replace it with something colourful. My vote is red concrete. This is the centre point of the entire field and the build. From this point, we want to dig up and down 24 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And the opposite side as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And then we want to fill these two rows in using white concrete. Like this. What we then want to do is dig 88 rows left and right of those two rows of 24 that we placed either side of the center point. So it doesn't really matter where we begin. I'm going to start digging right of this row right here. 88 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, and then 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88. Perfect. So, this entire row wants to be filled in using white concrete. And then we will continue by digging 88 rows in the opposite direction as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, and then finally 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, which we will then fill in with white concrete. And the end result of that should look like this. So what we would have to do if we wanted to do things a slow way is go over to the opposite side of the field, dig 88 blocks in either direction, and then connect both sides together. However, the smarter way of doing it is coming to the end of one of the rows of 88, digging across the field, and then connecting to the opposite end, which we have already measured out earlier. So unfortunately it is quite a distance to see. So my recommendation would be that you dig so far in one direction and then try and meet it from the opposite end. You can see we went a little bit too far, and that's perfectly fine. We can sort that out later. And all we will do from this point, now that we have converged, just like this, is just fill this in completely with white concrete, and that will be one side of the field marked out. That isn't exactly the truth because there is so much more that goes into it, but at the very least, this is the shape of it laid out. And there we go. So that is one half complete, and then we can come over onto the other side, and you guys already know what we're going to do. So the end result of all of our hard work will look like this. Next, we are going to mark out the individual lines in the field, and it literally doesn't matter if you come all the way over to the left or the right to start this, but the method is the same for both. So this is really simple. From the end of the field, we dig towards the center, and we dig 8 rows of grass out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we replace that 8th block with white concrete, and we repeat this process until we hit the middle of the field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, white concrete. Perfect. So when you get to the very end, I'm going to recommend that you check that this row of grass here is actually 7 rows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if all of these rows divide evenly, that means that we have got the length of the field right. Which is really important to know because it's such a massive field, it's really easy to add an extra row or two by accident. Anyway, once we hit this middle point, you guys know what we're going to do. We're going to continue digging 8 rows and replacing that 8th block with white concrete until we reach the end of the field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, replace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, perfect. So it just so happens that I have managed to do this first time. Trust me, that could have easily not been the case. So we now need to extend these rows of white concrete to the opposite end of the field, which means that we have to dig loads and loads of really long rows and then replace those using white concrete, which I am going to accelerate by using a little bit of World Edit. I really don't usually like to use World Edit in my tutorials, but this tutorial would actually take so incredibly long, it'd be like a 3-hour long video, so hopefully you guys will forgive me, and hopefully some of you have World Edit yourselves. And the end result of all of this is this, and that is absolutely perfect. So the next thing that we are going to work on is some smaller lines, and these we are not going to use World Edit for because they are quite nice and quick and easy to make. So come towards the middle of the field. So we want to find the center line that divides the entire field in half. Well, we want to take this inward block here, so if this is the corner, we extend inwards diagonally, we destroy this block and place white concrete here. Leave a gap, white concrete. Leave a gap, white concrete. We then want to extend these white concretes inwards an additional row like this, right? And we want to do this inside each one of the rows of 7 that we have all the way up and down the field. However, we do not want these lines to be in the last 2 parts of the field. So when you do get towards the end, just be a little bit wary. These last 2 areas here, we do not place the lines, but everywhere else. See, I made a mistake. I wasn't paying attention, and we actually placed a couple more that we didn't have to. But the end result of all of this is this. For the next step, I'm going to come all the way over to this side of the field, the left side, but once again, it doesn't really matter which side you start on, even start in the middle if you like, and we want to leave a gap of 15 extending inwards towards the middle of the field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then we want to dig 2 more rows and replace those last 2 rows with white concrete, just like this, okay? And the idea is that we also want to have these lines present towards the center of the field, so not just on one side, but towards the middle, and we will have to do the exact same thing on the opposite side of the field as well. But for now, as you can see, once again, I wasn't paying attention, but we have righted that wrong, and in the end, we will end up with something that should look exactly like this. Now that we have placed all of those smaller markings, what we now have to do is apply it to the opposite side of the field, which I'm going to use this thing for. Now, regardless of the method, the end result should look like this. So, for the next part of this, we have a bunch of numbers to write on the field. All of the, what I'm going to assume, are yard lines. Between you and me, I've never watched American football, but you know, you pick some of this stuff up from like movies and stuff, and I'm hoping that I'm right. So, this would be, I'm guessing, the 10-yard line. So, the way that we are actually going to write the 10 is the 1 of the 10 is going to be in this very first section here, and then the 0 in this section. So for each number, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50, we take this middle line here, and we want to leave a gap of 3 from the most inward dash, so like 1, 2, 3, and then here is where the number will start, 1 row away from this center line here. So we have to write out 1, which is going to be 1, 2, 3 blocks extending this way. We extend the middle block up 1, 2, 3, 4, and then to the left by 1, and fill all of this in with white concrete. Now, the cool part about having this number placed is every single number is the exact same size. So, on the opposite side of this line, we just have to leave a gap of 1, and we have to write a 0. So, we dig 1, 2, 3 blocks this way, up by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, across 2, join back, and then we simply have our 0. So on this left side of the field here, we also want to have a dash as well next to the numbers that aren't zeros, and we just leave a gap of 1 from the middle of this number here, and we write a little dash. So that dash changes depending upon which side of the field we're on. So 10. Next, we have to make 2. So once again, all of these numbers are in the same line. So if you take note of where that 0 is, you come all the way over to this line, leave a gap of 1. This is where 2 starts. So we dig 1, 2, 3 rows this way, up 2, right 2, up 2, left 2, and then fill all of this in using white concrete. And remember, all of the numbers are on zeros. We take the middle of this, leave a gap, destroy a block, and then we have a dash. So there we go. And then on the opposite side of this, we have to make an O again, which we should be quite proficient in because we've already done it once and it's really simple numbers. So there we go. We have 10, 20. So we come all the way over to here now, and once again, if you like, you can just start by making the 0, like if you think that it's easier. I do. I think that it's easier to kind of like take a look at that, mark that down, and then it's actually easier to make the 3 after this. So leaving a gap of 1 on this opposite side, we dig 1, 2, 3 blocks, and then up 1, 2, left 2, up 2, left 2, fill all of this in using white concrete, and then we take the middle row here, leave a gap, then place that dash. And then we want to, once again, we kind of like want to leave this row alone. This is the middle. Apply the 0 first, or at least once again, that's what I would recommend, because I think it just makes, it gives you a nice little anchor point. And then we can make the 4, so we leave a gap of 1, and we want to have a row that is equal in height to the 0. Fill all of this in. We take the middle of this row, dig left 2, up 2, and fill all of this in using white concrete. We then take the middle of the 4, leave a gap, and then we place a dash. Now, the first number that kind of like breaks these rules is 50, because this is the middle. But first of all, we want to make the 0, so once again, we're just going to mark this out, as this is the middle of the field here, so we have our 0, and then 50, so 5. We leave a gap of 1, of course, and we place 1, 2, 3 blocks this way. Take the first block, up 2, left 2, up 2, right 2, and then we fill all of this in using white concrete. And then, once again, this is the middle of the field, so what we now want to do is actually just repeat what we have on the left, but it's actually just mirrored. So I'm not going to use World Edit for this because things can get a little bit messy, to be quite honest with you, but we are just going to do this rather quickly. So, of course, next to 50 would be 40, just this way. And I'm just going to place the 0, so leave a gap, place the 0, like so. And on this side of the field, it's actually worth mentioning that the little dash that we were applying left of the number on that side is right of the number on this side, because of course we would be traveling in this direction, but everything else is pretty much the same. So we leave a gap of 1 and we want to make a 4 like this, which we've done already. And now I'm going to stop talking because we've already done this once. We apply it to this side, the dash is on the right side this time. Let's get to it. So finally, once we have applied all of those yard lines, what we now have to do is come onto the opposite side of the field and literally do the exact same thing. So the only difference is, of course, on this side of the field, the numbers are mirrored. So instead of like a 1 being here on this side, it will be a 0, the 1 will be here. But it's the exact same principle that we've made, or that we've already established anyway. So once again, on this opposite side of the field, where the 10-yard line is on that side, on this side, it's going to be really annoying if that's not what this is, and I keep calling it that, and you guys know better. I do apologise, I really don't know anything about the sport, but it looks fun anyway. Regardless, we want to then, same thing, we take this most inward dash of the centre point here, we leave a gap of 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we dig 1 block here, left 2, take the middle, extend up 1, 2, 3, 4, left 1, fill all of this in using white concrete like this. Then we leave a gap of 1 on the right of this, and we make the 0. And we want to, of course, have the dash in the middle, just like so. So you can see it is nice and mirrored just like this, and we literally want to do the exact same thing that we've already done, just extending all the way across this way. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. You guys hopefully won't require any further instructions, but If you do get ever so slightly confused at all, do just refer back to the previous parts of the field that you've already made, or if necessary, do jump back a little bit in the tutorial, but hopefully it's quite intuitive on how to make this. And don't forget the dashes, which I almost did myself. So the end result of all of our hard work should look like this. So now that we have all of the markings placed on the field, we can now add colour to the field itself. So starting from either the very left or the very right side, it doesn't matter. We are now going to do this. So on the very left side of the field, the first segment is either going to be blue or red, or pick a colour of your choice, it really doesn't matter. Red versus blue, green versus yellow, whatever you like. I'm going to make mine blue. The next segment extending inwards is going to be lime terracotta. Then the next section of the field is going to be green terracotta. We are then going to alternate between lime terracotta and green terracotta until we hit the center of the field. So once we actually hit the center of the field, we now literally want to mirror what we have on the left side of the field onto the right side of the field, minus the color at the very end. So for me, I'm going to use red concrete at the very end instead of blue, but this means that our pattern sort of resets, and we want to place alternating green terracotta followed by lime terracotta, and then we will have mirrored our pattern. You know, there is something so very satisfying about that. So, the next thing that we have to make is goalposts. There is one on each end of the field, and we basically want to come all the way to the white concrete grid here, and we want to find what we believe to be the middle block on the left and right sides of the build, and I'm pretty sure this lines up with the center red concrete block that I have in the middle. I'm pretty sure so. We're going to place a row of 7 yellow concrete extending up from this middle block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then extend forwards by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, left and right by 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then up by 8 on both ends. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. Absolutely perfect. So that is what a goalpost looks like, and we want to do the exact same thing all the way on this opposite end of the field. This thing is massive, by the way. So, all the way over here, I'm pretty sure this is the middle. I actually have a goalpost to look at now. And we start off with a row of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Forwards by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Left and right by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then up by 8 on each end. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which will give us, there we go, that is the field by and large complete. And we still haven't made any of the stadium yet. So, we are actually going to begin work on the stadium a little bit, and the way that we're going to do this is to come to either end of the field, so we want to be on one of the corners of the field, right? And depending upon which corner, we have to dig a specific amount in the ground. So, if we are digging this direction, we want to dig 5 rows in the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on the end place a white concrete. If we are digging in this direction, so out of the long side, we dig a row of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we place a white concrete on the end. So once again, 5, 9. We then want to connect these two rows together like this. And it's actually not quite as simple. This is just an easy way of doing it. So this is the corner of one of the stadiums, but we actually want to curve this corner by placing a white concrete here, destroying the middle block, and then placing two more white concretes, and then destroying those two end blocks. That will give us a curve, which we then want to come onto. We can literally just start on this end of the field, actually, so we can come onto this side, and on this long side, remember, we want to dig a row of 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. White concrete on the end. A row of 5 going this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. White concrete on the end. Place 2 rows of white concrete to connect these together. 1 in the corner, destroy. 2 in the corner, destroy. And there we have the 2 corners of this end of the stadium, which we can now connect together. So the stadium is not quite as simple as this, as there are steps and gaps and everything in between all of these, but I think it's very important that we get the base shape of this made before we start adding crazy details to it, because this is really, really simple if we kind of like follow certain steps. So my recommendation would be to extend one of these long sides across. So we're just going to extend one of these long sides across, as you can see here, all the way over to the end of the field. So if we, it's easier from this view, so we're not even quite halfway. It's nice that we have the yard lines, because it really does let us know our progress. 40, and then 30. We should really be faster. That 40 yard time is not up to par. 10. And we just want to keep going until we effectively reach like this corner here. So on this corner, as we've already extended this row, we know that there's a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But we have to add the row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Place the white concrete on the end. And then extend, extend. Block in the corner, destroy. Blocks in the corner, destroy. There we go. And what we can actually do is we can extend this block across, right? And we can kind of do this kind of like what we've just done in reverse, actually. So, funnily enough, what we could do, right, is we can like leave this block here, and we will have to extend. This is such a long journey. I wish that I wouldn't have started this, actually. We want to come all the way over to this opposite side. And it saves any sort of counting, although it's almost counterintuitive, because we could have counted and started extending by now in the time it took us to extend across to this end of the field. But we've committed to this, and that's perfectly fine. So it's kind of fun watching the numbers anyway. I kind of like seeing our little progress. We're about halfway there. Look at that, 50, and then whoops, keep making some mistakes in these block placements. But 40. 30, it's like a loading bar. 30, we're up 20, oh, we're getting close, look at that, and then 10, and then I guess 0, and we get all the way to the end, we join it together in a corner, stick white concrete in the corner, destroy that, stick white concretes in the corners, destroy that, and the end result of this should be, oh my gosh, look at this, a giant oval. Give it a minute, hang on. There we go, that's absolutely perfect. So now that we have made our giant oval, what we can now do is start marking out positions in the oval that will allow us to walk onto the field, that will mark out stairs up and down the stands. You guys get the idea. So this is really, really easy. Come to either end of the field, it literally doesn't matter. So on one side of the field, we want to take not this red concrete area, for instance, not this first one, but the second area where we have this lime terracotta. And where we have lime terracotta in this segment of the field, we want to destroy that area out of this white concrete area, if that makes sense. So not only that, but we want to leave a gap of 3. So when I say a gap of 3, that's 0, that 1, that 0, and where we have the lime terracotta of the 2, we want to destroy that area into the oval, if that makes sense. So we want to apply that on the exact same side of the stadium, and then there's actually a big gap. We then want to come towards the middle of the field where we have the 50, okay? And we are going to destroy the area from the green terracotta all the way to the green terracotta. Okay, so we have an extra wide area here right in the middle. That's perfect. We then, in the ground, want to dig 2 rows in towards the center, right of the white concrete. Okay, and then we want to place a row of 1, 2, 3 white concrete extending up. And then from the opposite side, dig a row of 2 in the ground, grey concrete, 1, 2, 3 white concrete, extend up, and then across. So we have a nice big giant row of white concrete here, and that is going to be a tunnel that allows us to get in and out of the actual stadium. And now that we have done this on that side, we actually want to do the exact same thing coming all the way over onto this opposite side. So as you guys might remember, we don't take the blue concrete area or the red concrete area, we take the lime terracotta next to it and we dig that area in the stand. We then leave a gap of 1, 2, 3, and where we have this 0 here, we want to dig this out and we want to replace that with empty space. So if we take a look at the whole thing, this should be nice and even on both sides, and that is absolutely perfect. So something else of note, on the small sides of the stadium, we also have to mark out some areas, and we effectively want to come all the way over to where the corner of this pitch is, or field, or, I mean, are they interchangeable? I don't even know. Whatever. So we want to take this area, and we already have a row on the ground to kind of point at it. Where we have the corner of the field, we want to knock out this block, and then in towards the center 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This will give us a row of 7 in the ground like this, and we want to have the exact same thing on the opposite side of the stadium. So once again, we kind of just, we work our way to the corner right here, follow it towards the stand, dig out this block, and then 6 blocks inwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is absolutely perfect. So these are all of the points in which we can get up and down the stands, in and out of the field, in and out of the stadium. There we go. That's all marked out. That's perfect. Now that we have all of that marked out, we are going to come towards the center where we have this entrance tunnel. And I'm actually going to shrink the tunnel 1 row on both sides. So we have a row of 3 grey concrete instead of a row of 2 like this, just because I think it looks a little bit better. Literally no other reason. You can keep it the way that it was. And what we then want to do is we want to, behind this white concrete where it begins, we want to leave a gap of 1. And then place a smooth quartz stair. Behind that, a light grey concrete. Behind that, a grey concrete. On top of the grey concrete, place a smooth quartz stair. Behind the smooth quartz stair, place a light grey concrete. And then behind that, a grey concrete. We then actually want to connect that down to the ground using a light grey, but we also want to extend upwards by 4 using light grey. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. And what we then want to do is extend that 4th block to the left a little bit. It doesn't have to go too far, but this is actually a pivotal point. So we also want to extend this block up by 2 as well. 1, 2. We also want to extend it back and then across by a few blocks as well. Something like this. So this is a really weird shape, right? But we actually want to take that area and we actually want to apply that onto this side as well. So from this white concrete block, leave a gap, smooth quartz stair. Behind it, light grey, you can actually see what we did there. Grey. Smooth quartz stair, light grey behind it, grey. Join that down, but then we also want to extend up on top of this by 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is important because we want to extend that 4th block out. But we also want to extend up by a further 2. 1, 2. Back. Join like this. So that will give us this. So this is actually going to be either like a commentator's box or a spectator's box. It can be whichever you like. I'm just going to have like a simple commentator's box. We'll have the exact same thing on the opposite side, but you can change it to make it just like a cool, chill lounge area. But regardless, we want to extend the white concrete tunnel back. So the white concrete tunnel is actually going to come quite far back. make sure that it like supersedes the light grey that we have on the left and right. We also want to extend the top of it, so we want to be able to connect the box down to this, and I mean, this is like the way that we get in and out of this place, so it's important that we don't have anything in the way. So there we go, that's absolutely perfect. So we can now build around this, and what we want to begin by doing is placing a row of light grey concrete behind these two vertical rows here, and then we want to fill in these rows connecting to the white concrete like this, right? And then on top of it, and then add another row on top, so we have two rows of light grey directly on top of the white concrete tunnel, just like this. And then we actually need some glass as well, so this box, of course, we want to be able to look out, so we want to have a row of 3 glass, 1, 2, 3, coming in from the ends, row of light grey concrete, and then on the opposite side, 1, 2, 3, like this, and then light grey concrete on the end, and then fill this in using glass, just like this. So that is absolutely perfect, and we don't really have to make too much more of this right now, but just know that this like extends back a few rows, so like literally I do believe it is only about 3 or 4 rows, but this is something that we will complete as we get into the build a little bit later, but it is important that we have at least like 3 or 4 rows extend back from the sides just like this so that we can fill it in later. But this is kind of like the center point of the stadium, which is really cool, and we can actually apply some of these stairs to this as well. So extending inwards towards the tunnel from the light grey concrete here, we want to have smooth stone slabs. Behind it, grey concrete. Above and behind this, smooth stone slabs, and then behind that, grey concrete. So this is basically like, this is a staircase that we will be repeating quite often, and we want to do the exact same thing on this opposite side. So here, 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 here. That's absolutely perfect. So up and down that left and right side. What we then want to do is extend the smooth quartz stairs that we placed across. So these stairs want to exist parallel to the white concrete. So we also want to extend the light grey concretes across as well. So we want to have the stairs, we want to have the light grey concrete like this. It's actually easier to place the stairs onto something, so that would be my recommendation. So we want to place these stairs onto the light grey concrete like this, have smooth quartz stairs in front, and then we're actually going to have another row of stairs here as well. So once again, it's kind of actually easier to place these stairs onto something. So behind where the stairs will be, I would recommend placing some light grey concrete here, like this, which will then allow us to place the stairs. And then we actually want to connect, I'll show you, because we already have the horizontal row here. So we actually want to place a couple of rows of light grey concrete up and behind these stairs here, and then an extra row of light grey concrete like above and in front of this, if that makes sense. So from here across like this. So this is like a lip of the upper part of the stadium. There's another set of seating, 2 rows actually, and that will just sit like that. So it's just kind of like a nice cool shape to the stand. So it's at this point that we should probably make the upper part of the stand and the actual way that we get up and down the stand as well. But actually the stand connects to, like, if you imagine that we have a set of stairs, right, that kind of like services this left side and the right side. So it would make more sense in my mind, at the very least, that we have this left side as well, so that we can place these stairs in the middle. But again, like what we've done here, we essentially want to make on this left side also. So we want to start off with the stairs, light grey concrete behind. We then want to have another set of stairs like start here, right? And then behind this, light grey concrete, extend across, stairs in front, and then lastly we will have another set of stairs above and behind this. So this is actually, it feels a little bit shorter. I don't know whether it is or not. It's got to be. Like, this feels a lot faster than what we were just doing. So behind here, we will once again have here. No, it will be here because there's a gap in the floor, so we then want to extend the light grey concrete across. And if in doubt, just refer back to previous parts of the build that we've already completed, because it is literally just a continuation of that. So just like this, and let's just take a look at this. Yeah, there we go, perfect. It's even on both sides, which is all we want. We then want to extend up and behind the light grey concrete here. We can extend the light grey concrete across the top, although I'm not sure how long that will stay. This wants to sit parallel above the actual stairs though. I'm not sure how it looks above the entrance areas until I just take a little look at my plans, but we do want to have this kind of like backboard behind the actual smooth quarter stairs on the upper part of the stands here. So all in all, we should end up with something that should look exactly like that, which is great. So, every time we have a split in the stand like we have right behind us, except for when we have like an entrance tunnel in the commentator's box, those are unique, just one per side. Every time we have a split in the stand, we do this. So, first of all, we have to make a set of stairs that leads up and backwards. This is really easy. This is smooth stone slabs connecting the two light grey concrete areas together with grey concrete in between them. So smooth stone slabs, grey concrete, smooth stone slabs, grey concrete, extending back. So smooth stone slabs next to the light grey concrete here, and then here's where things get a little bit different. So we're actually going to extend the light grey concrete area up at the top in a row, so just on both sides like this, to kind of like shrink this area a little bit. I think that we'll even shrink it a little bit more. So at the very top here, we just want to have 3 exposed slabs, and we can actually make this look a little bit nicer. So what we can do is we can extend the light grey concrete down here next to these stairs just on these stands, and then that just looks pretty good. And what we then do behind this is, of course, we add another layer of grey concrete, and then we're actually going to have 2. Right, actually, let's make it 3. So above and behind this last layer, we have a row of 3 here on either side. We then want to have 2 rows of smooth quartz stairs extending up and outwards on both sides like this, right? So at the top of the stairs, we have a 3x3 square, and then a set of 2 smooth quartz stairs extending up and back. We don't have to have that light grey concrete there. And then we want to leave a gap of 3. So we want to place 1, 2, 3 grey concrete extending up and behind. So it's basically just kind of like a landing, so to speak. So grey concrete, and then we want to start with these stairs again. So this first row, we want to start extending like this, and this is where the first set of smooth quartz stairs is going to be. And then we're going to use grey concrete again. We'll place grey concrete behind this upper set of stairs, and we'd best place 2 rows actually, just because it's easier. And then we want to place another set of stairs, and that's actually like as high as these stairs ever get placed. And then behind these stairs will be light grey concrete, and then above this we will have 1 or 2 rows of light grey. It kind of depends how high you want the stadium to go. But that's how that works effectively, and we want to apply this on the opposite side also. So once again, I'm going to extend this row all the way to the center box here, and then we can actually have like a whole strip of, like, this will be like a whole section of seating, like, that connects this side to this side, because like that's a closed off area, and then this will be as well, and then in the middle here we will then be repeating the stairs process, and then there as well, if that makes sense. And the corner of the stadium is ever so slightly different than the rest of the stadium, well, just because it's a different shape. The principle, however, is very much the same. So yeah, it's all really easy. Like, it all follows like certain rules, and if you can just like remember those and just keep applying them over and over again, like it's really easy. And you don't even really have to remember, you just have to like refer back to a previous part in the tutorial, or just have a look at a previous part of your stadium and just be like, huh, that's how it's supposed to look. Okay, I'll just do that again. The end. It's really, really simple. So light grey. So here we go. So that's like what an entire section of upper seating looks like. It's a little bit different because there's a little bit of grey involved, just for a bit of contrast. We can connect this light grey behind these seats together. The upper part of the stadium does only have like a couple of rows of light grey concrete, and then we'll be using grey concrete for the rest of it, but it might actually be 3 rows. But anyway, so these 2 sets of stairs, how do we connect these sides together? So this is really simple. We just want to place, we'll just have grey concrete covering up all of this empty space, like this, right? So grey concrete covering up all of the stairs, extending down and to the ground. And it'll also make the outside of the stadium look a little bit more interesting. So you can even get to the bottom part, right? And then you could just like extend down the ends like this. Again, it kind of depends like what sort of like shape you want your stadium to take on, and then we can cover up this empty space just on the inside. Like, it's going to look really simple from the outside, really, but you know, we can make it look as interesting as possible. And then we could even have like so this inside portion, like we could even have it look like curved from the rest of the perspective. So like we could have like a couple of rows here, and then just like a couple of, and it even like works out like in a pattern. So you know, we can have like solid parts like that, and then on the outside, I don't know why we're talking about the outside, but we kind of just got onto it. So we can have like a really cool shape, but the important part is that we have the light grey concrete there that covers up the outer part of the stand. So that's how we make the stairs. That's how the upper part of the stand looks like. Let's make this opposite side of seating, and then we will once again kind of like just repeat the stair section again. So you could even go and make the like entire lower part of the stand. Like you could make all of the lower seating first if you wanted to, and then work your way up to the next part. Or like you can just do all of the stairs section first. You could do the upper part first, like work that all the way around. It really doesn't matter. Like, it's like whatever your personal building preference is, because we're not even a quarter of the way done. So you know, like there's plenty of opportunity to kind of like shake things up a little bit, but I think that that's looking really good. There we go, that's absolutely perfect. So we're actually going to have to take out some of these stairs on the left. So I think that will make things easier if we make as much of the lower part of these stands as possible. So to do that, we pretty much want to come to the white concrete sections here, and we want to leave a gap of 1, and then place a row of form-fitting smooth quartz stairs around the edge of the stands. So the reason that I use the words form-fitting is because the stairs want to wrap around like this. And of course, behind those stairs, we want to stack a layer of light grey concrete, as we have for every other part of the seating arrangement. And then we are going to want to place another layer of light grey concrete above and behind this, and I'm just placing this to facilitate the next row of smooth quartz stairs, because it's not like you do need something to place quartz stairs onto. Like, you can place quartz stairs onto themselves, but I find it's just a lot easier to place them onto something than themselves. So just as a little demonstration, so I don't sound too crazy, like, so placing them onto themselves, like, it can be rather tricky, or at least to do it quickly. Like, it's easy to accidentally misplace them, whereas if we do just place the light grey concrete first, I find that number one, it's just so much easier. I just find that it's faster in the long run, even though you are placing another row of something, but you have to pay so much less attention. But we want to have another set of these, and this is going to be the final set, as you guys can see. So we have 1, 2, 3 layers of stairs, right? And then, as you guys can see on the previous stand, we now want to have 2 rows of light grey concrete that pop up above the back of these seats here. So we'll just have this light grey concrete placed. And we want to place the row of light grey concrete that sits above and outside of this row as well. So we can just extend it over from that opposite side, and of course it just follows that same corner shape along. just like this, right? So that's absolutely perfect. And then if you want to, I mean, you can even just make the upper set of stairs here. We'll just have to chop out some of these stairs when we actually place the stairs in, but we'll place a set of grey concrete here. We'll place the smooth quartz stairs on, and just as I keep repeating as well, I mean, I keep repeating myself because it is so simple. There's not really any additional instructions. We just want to literally do the exact same thing that we've done before. So we then want to place a couple of rows of grey concrete behind that first set of seating. And unlike the lower row, we want to have only 2 sets of seats on the upper stands rather than the lower stands, which of course have 3 in total. So we've placed the grey concrete that we can then place the smooth quartz stairs on top of, and we now just want to have this rotate around just like this, and that's pretty much the corner of the stand. Of course, the only thing that we're missing in relation to the previous part is the layer of light grey concrete that just then wraps around the back of the seats and then extends up, and this is kind of like the end of the stadium. Like this is pretty much as high as the entire build goes if you don't count the goalposts. This is about as high as it goes. You can even you can add another row on top of it, which I think we will, so that it's higher than the box, so that there is a bit of a bit of contrast. But now that we have 2 sets of stands here, what we can now do, of course, is connect them together, and you guys know what to do. So we connect the light grey concretes here in between the first and second sets of stairs together, grey concrete behind, then smooth stone slabs behind that, grey concrete behind, and then we actually have to connect some of these light grey concretes together. So we'll extend these in a couple of rows like this. And then we want to have a set of 3 smooth stone slabs here in between. Behind these, a 3 by 3 square of grey concrete. And then we just want to extend up 3 sets of smooth quartz stairs. So this is why it might be beneficial to make the stairs first, because it just saves us having to chop out some of these stand here, but it's not that big of a deal. So a 3 by 3 square here and at the top, and then you get to the seat. So it's not really a big deal. Or you can just remember to leave this on the end like this, and that's all there is to it really. And then of course you can just you can place the grey concrete. Well, no, you can't. My bad. So we just have to place. Where does the grey concrete go? So it stops here, and then light grey, extend across, and then we'll just place light grey in such a way, and we'll do this later, we won't delve into the outside of the stand again, but we'll be placing light grey concrete in such a way that it kind of just hides all of this, and we'll kind of figure out, why am I making this again? I've fallen into the same trap, but this will just cover up all of the side part of this. I think that this is actually a bit slimmer than the other side, so we'll kind of have to determine how thick we want those to be, but you guys get the idea. That's all covered up. We have a way to get up and down the stands. I think that you guys know how to make these now. So we have that side, we have this side. So we're just going to make part of this as well. So before we continue making more of the stand, we are actually going to add another split in the stand. So directly behind the goalpost here, we want to destroy this white concrete, and then 3 to the left, 1, 2, 3, and 3 to the right, 1, 2, 3, just like this. And then this is going to, of course, be another way that we can get up and down these stands. And it might make a bit more sense possibly that this stays sealed up, but I think just for the sake of remembering where these splits in the actual stadium go, I think that we'll just leave that open for now. But anyway, we are going to continue making some of the structure here. So leaving a gap of 1 behind the white concrete, we want to place the row of smooth quartz stairs, and then a layer of light grey concrete like this. And then above and behind this, we'll want another layer of smooth quartz stairs, so we'll just double up on that row, just to make it easy. You could use any material for that. And then we will do the same thing behind these. And then behind this, we'll stack 2 layers of light grey concrete that are above and outside of that layer of smooth quartz stairs like this, so that's perfect. It's the same as all of the other rows. We will extend this row of light grey concrete across and in front of the top of that row. And now we can start adding some stairs, some seating to the upper part of this. So we'll just have a layer of grey concrete behind the light grey and then a set of stairs on top. And then a couple of rows of grey concrete behind that, which will allow us to place a set of stairs on top of this back portion like this. And then a couple of rows of light grey concrete behind these just to pop out the top of the stand. And you know what, we're actually going to do it now because I think it's just a good time before we have too much of it to do. We want to add an additional layer of light grey concrete on top of the back row of the stadium. So it's going to go all the way around. It's going to take a little while to do because of course we've got a lot of stadium already, even though we've barely made a quarter of this thing really. There we go. So the reason that I've done that, and you'll be able to see why in a second, is just so that it pokes out the top of that little box area here, just for a bit of contrast. And now that we've done that, I also want to add another set of stairs here. So when I say stairs, like those stairs, so that we can get up and down the stadium. So a layer of smooth stone slabs to connect these two sides together. Grey concrete behind, smooth stone slabs, grey concrete behind, and then we're going to bring the light grey concrete inwards, a couple of rows on both sides just like this to leave a gap of 3 in the middle, smooth stone slabs behind, then a 3x3 square of grey concrete, and then you see, I've already forgotten that we need to leave a gap at the top of these stands. It's really not that big of a deal, I suppose, because it's a nice, quick, easy fix. So we can just destroy these, and then place the grey concrete here, just like this, and here as well. Replace this. That's perfect, and there we go. I mean, that's absolutely fantastic. And then of course, once again, we would want to fill all of this in using light grey concrete, just so that we just don't want any gaps in this thing. So we'll just extend this up, and then later on we will work on the outside. And I do mean it this time. We won't actually. It's, you know, the reason is I don't want to leave a little gap here. That's literally the only reason that I keep building part of the outside of the stadium, is I just don't want to leave a gap in the build from the front. I just want it to be nice and closed off. So that's a reason that I keep falling into that trap. But you can see how this is all connecting together nicely, and that's actually officially an entire quarter of the stadium complete, pretty much. So what we then want to do, of course, is you can add screens above where we have these stairs area. So these are in the form of black concrete. So I'm placing these directly above where we have these stairs, and they're going to be 3 rows high. So they are 7 rows long they're actually 5 rows long in total, right? So they're just 1 row longer than the actual stairs, and they're 3 rows high. But you could make them a bit wider if you like, but there's something about that size that I like in particular. So we just want to place these here. Why do those? Oh, it's because we extended the light grey concrete there. So yeah, I forgot that was even an option. That's something that you might want to do if you like. I actually don't know which I prefer. Would you like to have the entrance be a bit more pronounced to the actual stairs, or are you happy having it sat back? This is why it's important to refer to previous parts of the tutorial, because it's also a good little indication. I think that it looks better with the part of the stairs kind of sticking out. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But in doing that, ladies and gentlemen, we've pretty much made an entire quarter of the stadium. The only thing that I want to do is also make it so that we can actually get into this box here as well. So The way that we will get into this box, how will we do it? Like, there's a couple of ways. So we could have like a little entrance here, just on the side, just snuck in here. I think that's a perfectly viable option. We could also have like stairs that lead up from just in front of this, but we have to also make like a floor inside of here. We can see where the back of the stadium goes. The back of the stadium is like literally here. There's only 3 rows inside of this. We're going to seal up the back of this room using light grey concrete as well. So we just want to have this. That's absolutely perfect. And then like what we will also do is like we'll have the tunnel extend down like so, like this, right? And we'll have this extend all the way through, and this will lead to a car park or wherever it is that you want it to lead, to be honest. Like as long as it extends 1 row further than the actual stadium itself, then everything will be good. So that just wants to extend 1 row further. Later on we'll seal up all of this, but we'll tackle the outside of the stadium like at a certain point in time. This box, we want to have an entrance on both sides. We don't have the other side made, but inside here, like, can literally be anything that you want. Like I said, it could be like an announcer's kind of like box. So, like, you know, people who are commentating the game, or commentators box. Like, can have like a couple of chairs with like a lever in front, like as a little radio thing, and you could even have like little screens back here as well. Maybe like just offset here and here, nothing too complicated. Or it could be a viewing box, so, you know, the people that want to pay a lot of money and like watch the game in comfort, then that's absolutely possible. Or something like this is good. So we'll make an alternate version to this once we have actually made like the other box itself. So I'm just going to seal up the top of this. I'm quite happy with this. We can just add doors onto it as well, which can just be made out of, I don't know, it doesn't really even matter, to be honest. Like any door that you like, maybe a dark oak door, so that it looks a little bit fancy. We'll have those on either side, and there you go. So that's like the commentator's version, and then we can have the whatever version over there, whichever, or we could just have like 2 commentators, so that'd be absolutely fine as well. So this is looking really good. So as I mentioned, we've got a quarter of this thing made, and I think that you guys are gonna kind of like figure out what we're going to be doing for the other 3 quarters of this. We are literally making the exact same thing that we have made there one more time, and then that's half the stadium made, and then mirroring it onto the opposite side. So yeah, that's a lot to do. I think the next logical step is to make all of the spaces in these stands so that we know where all of these sets of stairs go, and to also make the central tunnel and also mark out where the observation box will be as well. It's really easy to find the positions for all of these, as all we have to do is refer to the previous part of the stadium, which really does just mean looking directly over at the opposite half which we have already built. So now that we have marked out the positionings for all of these stands and everything in between, we are now able to make more of these stands themselves. I'm going to begin by making the entire lower half of these stands, and I just think that this makes it easier to build the rest of it once the entire lower section has been complete. And of course, if you are having trouble putting these together, please do just refer to the previous parts of the stands that we've made. They are the exact same. Hopefully you won't run into too much trouble. With all of the lower halves of these stands made, I am now going to work on the stairs that sits in between each one of these stands. So I'm applying the layers of smooth stone slabs, grey concrete, and then when we get up to the back set of stairs, we are going to shrink that entranceway so that it is only 3 blocks wide, then apply another set of smooth stone slabs, a 3x3 square of grey concrete behind that, and that is the only part of these stairs that I want to make at this moment in time. So now that we have the foundation for all of these staircases made, we can move on to the upper part of these stands. So the way that I'm doing this is applying the smooth quartz stairs either side of the landing area that we have in between the stands, extending those stairs upwards, making a similar landing area either side of those stairs, and then applying the first layer of smooth quartz stairs that is actually the seating, and then the layer behind it. Now, once those two pairs of stairs are made, we are going to then place some light grey concrete behind those. Remember, the light grey concrete is 2 rows higher, but once again, if you do run into any trouble making any of this, just refer back to a previous part of the tutorial or a previous part of your stadium and you should be able to pick it up really quickly. With the majority of these stands complete, we can now work on the opposite entrance tunnel and also the observation box as well. So the first thing that I'm going to do is extend the tunnel backwards until it is one row backwards in relation to the top of the stand there, because we want the actual tunnel to stick out from the outside of the stadium, so it's clear and obvious how we actually get in and out of here. And now that we've done that, we have to make some of the observation box, but the first thing to do really is to make a couple of sets of stairs leading up to it. So from this light grey concrete here, we want to place some smooth stone slabs extending across, grey concrete behind, some more smooth stone slabs, and then another layer of grey concrete. We then want to knock out this smooth quartz stair here and then replace it with light grey concrete extending upwards. We then want to further extend this row of light grey concrete here up by another 2 rows, in one, and then across, so like this. So the idea would be that it extends all the way across here, forwards and then down, so opposite of what we did over there basically. And then destroy the stair, extend that up, and there you have kind of like the framework for the box. And we of course want to have the same set of stairs that we have on that opposite side there apply onto here. And we then want to connect some of these rows together using light grey concrete as well. So the light grey concrete is just going to sit behind the grey concrete. We want to have about 3 rows of it in total here. The reason being is because this is where the window section is, and we want to have 3 rows of grey concrete inside of the box. Just remember, it's literally the exact same as the opposite side there. I can see that we're definitely going to have to knock out some of the seating as well, but we can just replace this using light grey concrete like this. We have enough room for a doorway here. We might have to actually knock out this seat here and then extend this backwards because this is where the glass actually sits, so we couldn't have a seat. But yeah, that'd be perfectly fine here. So destroy this. We don't need this anymore. Connect the light grey concrete to the back of the stand just like so. Here, across, and then we want to fill the back of this in using light grey concrete like this. So this is going to be as high as the rest of the stand, of course. There's no reason to change this. We're going to fill the top of this in using glass as well. And we also have to add the doors too. Well, we already have a doorway on one side, but we have to actually add the doors themselves. And there's a couple of parts of the inside of the stadium that we're lacking also, but we need to have an entranceway here, and then as you can see from the opposite side, we have 1, 2, 3 rows of glass, and then a layer of light grey concrete, and then the rest is glass. And same coming in from the opposite side, 1, 2, 3 layers of glass, light grey concrete, the rest is glass, and then this is either an observation box or it is, you know, like a commentator's box, and it really doesn't matter which one you prefer. I'm just going to make it like an opposite commentator's box. Not that I can actually... I probably should have had the roof in afterwards, but here and here, that's absolutely perfect. Oh, we need the screens as well, don't we? Of course we do. So we need the... Oh, and we'll grab the doors as well whilst we're at it. So we'll just drop in here, and I believe that they would go here. And then we want to leave a gap of 1, and then here, painting, and then fill this in using glass, and then add a door. That's not a door. Add a door here, and then a door there, and then that's absolutely perfect. So now we have pretty much the exact same thing on both sides of the stadium, but I did actually notice that we do have a little discrepancy. So some of these stairways have screens and others don't. So we are going to fix that. So what I'm thinking is on the long sides of the stadium, above where we have the stairs, we want to have 5-row long TV screens that are 3 rows high, and they begin just in front of the light grey concrete at the top of the stairs. And these are only on the long sides. I actually did have one on one of the short sides of the stadium, however I have removed it. Another thing that we are going to do as well is replace all of the grass inside of these stands. So this is pretty much just on the very ground level. We are going to replace all of the grass using grey concrete. And once we have filled in the entire base of these stands using grey concrete, I'm also going to fix all of the grass inside of the actual playing field as well, because I took out some of the grass for the corners, so I'm just going to fix that up. And with all of that complete, ladies and gentlemen, I can safely say that that is 99% of the inside of the stadium complete. We can now turn our attention to the outside. So on the outside of the stadium, which we have made parts of already, we have to find a way to cover up the stairs section of the stands, and also to some extent the areas surrounding the tunnel, although those are a little bit simpler. So it's really up to you how you want to go about this. Like, do you prefer this sort of design here, a bit more minimalistic, as little light grey concrete as possible, or do you kind of like this more chunky design here? I literally do like both of these, but I am starting to think maybe like a chunkier design like this might look good. But when you start adding in grey concrete, for instance, like this, does this side of the stand really shine? So like we drop this down here too, because with the more exposed sections, and we get this kind of like really cool sort of like bowl effect, and it's further enhanced by having just a little bit of light grey concrete rather than just massive chunks of rectangular light grey. So again, you know, I think that that's cooler because it gives the build some depth. So the first thing to do outside is even out the top of the stadium. This is really simple. We simply want to have 3 rows of light grey concrete extending down from the top of the stadium. In some places we will already have this anyway, in other places we will have a couple of rows, and in some particular cases as well we will have to connect 2 sides of stairs together. But no matter what, just make sure that you have 3 solid rows of light grey concrete starting from the top, extending down, and you can't really go too far wrong. With the top of the stadium made, we can now fill in the individual stair sections. So this is really easy as well. The way that I'm going to do this is add light grey concrete directly behind the empty space of the stairs at the top, and then from the widest part of the stairs, which is the upper row, extend down light grey concrete to form a T-shape. And we have to repeat this loads and loads of times around the stadium, but once you've got the hang of it, it's really quick and really easy to do. Another thing that we have to do as well is just fill in the tunnel sections, which is really simple. We just want to extend down the furthest point of the light grey concrete, which is embedded in the grey concrete on the upper part of the stands on the left and right. Extend that down and you'll easily be able to see where that goes. And that's all we have to do for the entrance tunnels. Now, last but not least, but a very time-consuming part of the stadium, we have to make the under part This is in between all of these stair sections, so this is made up of grey concrete. Grey concrete is placed in such a way that we extend down the exposed grey concrete that we have in these stands already. There will be a row of grey concrete. We extend that down so that it's 2 rows thick, and then we extend down another couple of rows of grey concrete that sits in front of and down from that, and then lastly we will do that one more time and that will connect to the ground. So what that ends up being is 3 rows of 2 grey concrete stacked vertically that slowly comes down and inwards into a bowl shape. It's really easy to make, and I think that looks really good, and we just have to literally apply that to the entire stadium. So once that has been done, so with the actual structure of the stadium complete now, we can now move on to the smaller details on the outside. So for instance, we actually have to add a bit of pathway. The pathway pretty much sits entirely within our grid, and it also just extends inwards into the entrance tunnels. And that's pretty much it. So pretty much everywhere outside of the stadium, yet inside of the grid, we want to replace using smooth stone, and also just inside of the entrance tunnels, and that's it. So now that we have a pavement all the way around our stadium, the next thing that we are going to do is add some lighting. So lighting is going to be placed behind each one of the stand staircases on the long sides of the stadium, and also one on the corner as well. So we'll start with the one on the corner because it's a little bit unique. This takes a little bit of eyeballing, but the gist of it is that we want to find this corner block here, work our way down to the ground, leave a gap of 1 diagonally, and then this block is where we want to start. So roughly speaking, this should be here, and we want this on each one of the 4 corners, right? So we want to place stone brick wall extending all the way up from the ground to equal the height of the stadium. We then want to extend up higher than the stadium, 3 rows, 1, 2, 3, light grey concrete on there, and then this corner lamp in particular, we want to extend the light grey concrete this way, this way, this way, and then the opposite this way, this way, this way. So we end up with this diagonal shape, which we then want to stick 2 rows of sea lanterns on top of, moving inwards towards the center, and that is how each one of the corner lights are made. So the side lights are actually easier to make, and the way that we do it is we find the center of each one of these stands. We have 4 on each side. We leave a gap of 1 from the middle, place a row of stone brick wall extending all the way up from the ground, equal the height here, then extend up 3 rows higher, 1, 2, 3, light grey concrete on top, extend to the right by 2, to the left by 2, and then 2 rows of sea lanterns directly on top. And that is pretty much all there is to it. And we want to apply this all the way around the stadium. Let's do it. Now that is almost everything complete, ladies and gentlemen. Now that we have the lights, we have the stadium, we have the field, we have the outside done, the only thing that I'm going to recommend making, which may or may not be for you depending upon where you build this, is a car park. So I'm going to show you how to make a car park on one side or both sides of your stadium that will help to integrate it into your city surroundings. So basically, it's as simple as this. On one of the long sides of your football stadium, you want to dig 2 rows inwards towards the middle of your stadium. So this is on the outside of your pavement. From one side, dig 2 rows inwards. Then, those 2 rows will be replaced with smooth stone. We then want to dig 3 more rows and replace those rows with cyan terracotta, or your road material of choice. We can then keep repeating this pattern right here. We place a row of white concrete, 3 rows of cyan terracotta, 1 row of white concrete, 3 rows of cyan terracotta, so on and so forth until we reach the opposite side of our football stadium. On the end, we will also want to place 2 rows of smooth stone so that it is mirrored. If you like, you can also have kind of like a pathway that leads from the actual entrance tunnel like towards out into the car park, so you can sacrifice some spaces for this if you do so wish. The car parking spaces themselves, the rows of white concrete, are 6 or 7 rows long depending upon your personal preference. I am also going to have a set of spaces that are parallel to these, and I'm going to leave 7 rows in the ground in between them. And once I have applied the car park to this side of the stadium, I'm actually going to do the exact same thing on the opposite side. I'll also add a couple of roads on the short sides to connect everything together, and then once we've done that, that will actually be pretty much the whole thing done, except for one tiny little detail. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, once those optional car parks have been added, we are left with but one thing to do, and that is place the ball in the center of the field. I'm using a brown shulker box for this, right in the middle. Bam. Tutorial complete. I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. Please do remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.